Heidi ho, YouTube. I've kind of been off for a few days from posting YouTube videos, but I did want to kind of try to get everybody caught up a bit. So the last thing I was working on really was some storyboard animatic type stuff, and there's a whole section that's done now, so ready to be finished. So I figured I'd go ahead and show you what's going on, because it kind of speaks to the technique I referred to the other day called building out, which I kind of invented that term. I don't know if anybody else does that, but the idea is to draw like a storyboard, draw as few drawings as possible to tell your story, which lends itself well to anime, right? Because it's kind of on the minimalist animation side of the tracks. So what I've been doing is just storyboarding the thing, putting in the key poses, key little bits of animation, and then in a different level, this one right here, just add in comic book style balloons, and then later we can go ahead and this art can all be finished up, and it's going to comprise, I don't know, I'm sure it's going to be at least a minute of show. And then those can be finished up, and then we can, once we have the dialogue tracks, we can go ahead and just stretch these out like so, like that, and work out the timing that way. So once this guy realizes he's got a someone is handing me a note. You want to say you didn't instead of he won't? Okay, that's fine. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other to me. That's fine. We'll do that. Okay, I'm not going to address that here in this YouTube video. It's just one little dialogue change. So anyway, so once he stands up, I'm just going to go down and just play the story, and this is what we have. So bad guy number 1, it appears you have me at a disadvantage. Why have you so rudely, not to mention clumsily, climbed through my window? Do your parents not teach you manners? I actually don't totally love that drawing of Akari, and I'm probably going to change it. Or did you mistakenly think I'm some princess in a watchtower, waiting for my knight in shining armor? And then we'll have this going on. You're no damsel in distress. You're correct about that. And then, yeah, I guess this part was covered in a previous video. Pretty impressive, little magic going on there. And he's impressed. I cannot respect your profession, skulking like rats in the night, but at least you should do your best. Perhaps this is his best. Okay, so he's reacting because he knows he's the doofus character. Still, you didn't answer my question. Let me repeat myself. And she yells at him. Why did you climb into my room? Through my window and nearly destroy a precious heirloom. Oh yeah, so again, I'm just going to kind of use this technique to keep things moving. My boss wishes to see you. And why wasn't he climbing through my window instead of 2 noisy amateurs? And besides, why should I come to him? He's the one who wants to meet me. I don't even know who he is. Plus, this is a temple. Even a perv like your boss can come here anytime he likes. My sincere apologies. Sir, what are you doing? We must show the proper respect. All your questions will be answered if you'll be so kind as to come with us. Tempting. Perhaps you could have asked me this before you stole into my room in the middle of the night. So I actually still think maybe she's this, you're skulking or sneaking, coming in my room in the middle of the night. To me, maybe she said it too many times. I think we're maybe beating that one to death. Oh. Okay, so apparently there's another dialogue note about that. So, not getting the impression he's the sort to take no for an answer. Lucky for me, he sent you to. Okay, so I'm getting the distinct impression you didn't intend. Okay, so is the word distinct important there? Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, the word distinct is important. So therefore, I'm getting the distinct impression you you didn't intend to. Okay, so she has this oh, sorry, I got a mistake there. Just grab the S key right here and just move that over like that. Okay, let me bounce up one. Okay. Okay. So you're saying this whole thing, perhaps you could have asked me this before you stole into my room in the middle of the night. That whole thing could be deleted.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. I agree completely. Yeah, let's ditch that.
And I do agree. Let's do your boss instead of you.
Okay.
Since that works better with but yeah, that's why this
Okay, and I'm gonna just write the word Riley because this her expression there may not actually be appropriate to what we're trying to do. There's a little bit of a comedic element here in her attitude that isn't really shown in the drawings, but that's okay. As long as I put the word Riley in there, I know what I need to do, and I'll go ahead and tighten that up later. So I'm getting the distinct impression your boss didn't intend, so... Fortunately, like I said, we can just drag these things around. Your boss didn't intend to take no for an answer. Okay, that's cool. So we got that. It would displease him if you refuse. Perhaps it would be best to come along. I'm asking nicely. So whether this will play, I don't know. I hope it does because I like the look on her face. I like the attitude. I think that's kind of working. Whether that, once it's in motion, whether it will convey this, which is obviously thought balloons you can't have in an anime, you know, we will see. But let's keep going. So now she hears something, which makes her... And then she says, "You are so in trouble now, Zen. It's about time you showed up. You nearly missed the fun." And we hear this voice behind her say, indeed. Zen? I was wondering myself what was taking so long. Care to explain? So sorry, boss. It wasn't my fault. I'm sorry if my men frightened you. It was an unavoidable precaution, I assure you. Zen? So she's kind of saying Zen one more time while you see these guys filing in behind the boss. Okay. Now, apologize. So sorry, so sorry, so sorry. Our humblest apologies. So, got these guys in shape. That's better. Now, if you'll please be so kind, please drop your weapon. There's no need, and I don't wish for you to be harmed. Okay, so now she's got to have this moment where she's weighing her options just a bit. And by the way, who is this Zen? So now he's got to get a little more leverage on her. He's not the redheaded boy, is he? What? What did you do to Zen? He'll be fine, provided you cooperate. What did you do? He's had a bit of poison, I'm afraid. He'll be fine once he receives the antidote. But boss, I thought you said... I don't know about this expression either. It certainly tells the story very well in comic book form, but anime-wise, truthfully, what we probably need to do is just take this frame, widen this guy's eyes out a little bit, and then just have an animation of him going, you know, like this. Just a scowl. It can be very subtle. So, and then he realizes he's stuck his foot in his mouth. The knife, miss? So I like this. That's going to require a few in-betweens to play. But she goes ahead and makes that decision to see this through, wherever it might lead. That's better. Now, why not be a good girl? And that, of course, was the wrong thing to say. Take her. So there's quite a bit that happens there at the end. I'm just going to play this through kind of at speed so you can sort of see how this is all going to feel. So yeah, I think, you know, obviously a little bit of this was covered in the last video or two. And this sequence right here of her swiping the knife, this was actually done in the Blender grease pencil. And then I just exported the image sequence here into OpenTunes. So, but that gets us through quite a lengthy segment. I mean, if this was actually played out, I should time it out. Because it seems to me the whole first section of the video, or of this sequence, is not actually timed out yet. So this all takes a fair amount longer than what we see, because I definitely didn't time this at all. I just have everything there that needs to be there, but it's got to be spread out to fit the appropriate dialogue and stuff, just up to this point. And then from there, you know, it's just cranking time. So like I said, the good news is we could go ahead and just ink every one of these frames, which would be fairly, you know, that's just grunt work really, you know, that's not going to take very long. And then given the dialogue tracks, just stretch it all out so it feels good. And I got to believe there's got to be at least a minute or two just in this sequence right here, which is cool because that means I'm gonna say we're probably up to about 3.5 to 4 minutes of show. And the good thing is we got the workflow worked out. You know, this building out thing, I've tested it. It's a good way to work because you always do what you need to do, but you never do too much. It sort of bypasses a lot of the problems that go with trying to work out the timing too early, which always is an exercise in futility because the timing always changes. So, and it's really easier to make timing changes later on in your video editing software anyway. So now I wonder if I can just drag these guys over here. Yeah, I guess we can. And so it looks to me like this column, I'm not sure why I split those two apart from each other earlier, but and column 4, as long as we're here and sort of looking at things, I'm going to see, column 4, I'm going to actually call this Blender. So I know that's the Blender cells. And I'm not combining them because we actually have the background of these other two characters, well, 3 actually, in the background behind her when she does this move. But man, I love that move. I think it came out so good. That's one of those moves you'd hate to have that one get cut from the show because, you know, I really like that move. But it's happened before. I had the original version of the ninjas coming in the room doing a barrel roll, and the barrel roll I thought looked really cool, but it wound up getting cut from the show. So win if you lose, because ninjas don't do barrel rolls. Even though now we're characterizing these guys as totally incompetent boobs.
It was because of gravity that they used the barrel.
Oh, you're saying it wouldn't have been physically possible.
It would take it way up.
Right. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so that brings us up to date, and whether I'm going to finish this, meaning ink and paint, or go on, I don't know, but at this point my sense is that we'll probably go on and go ahead and animate the battle, because frankly, the thing that would ever cause me to take a section and finish it kind of prematurely, like right now, if let's say you had a whole 24-minute show and it's all in this form, you know, who cares, right? You know, it's just work that you have to do to go ahead and do the ink and paint. So why would I finish it early? In the past, mainly because I'm testing workflow things. I'm trying to I'm figuring out the look of the show, and I'm trying to make sure that certain things aren't going to blow up and are going to work as expected in this sort of business. So, you know, most of that was covered in 2018. Now in 2019, you know, it seems like we've gotten most of the questions answered. So therefore, we can pull back and do what we're doing here, which is we're focusing on the story that we're trying to tell, right? Which is the dialogue and the characters and the attitudes and the expressions. So anyway, and with that, it was a 15-minute. With that, I'm going to call it good for today. And I'm sure, as usual, there will be much, much, much more later.